What is up, people? Welcome to a Geek Alley gaming recommendation, and today I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I got with me Shadowfox. How you doing, man?
What's going on? Shadowfox Infinite.
All right, the game we're gonna be talking about is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It came out on the Nintendo Switch back in December of last year. So we are two big Xenoblade heads, and
Just slightly.
that's to say it nicely. you know, so gonna take a look at this one as the second entry now. Before we start, I think we should go in and just say this, give this disclaimer out. If you think this is like Xenoblade Chronicles X, it's not.
No.
This is more on the anime JRPG side of Xenoblade, not the sci-fi side of it. Has sci-fi elements in it, don't get me wrong, but it's not as hard sci-fi as Xenoblade Chronicles X was.
No. Xenoblade Chronicles X was
that was hard sci-fi.
Yeah, that was clearly hard sci-fi with a little bit of Japanese humor thrown in for good measure here and there, but for the most part, it was morbid.
Yeah, but this is more toward the anime end of the spectrum, as far as it's kind of like shonen anime. So that's just to let you know, because I know some of y'all there, some people have strong feelings about Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I'm not going to get into it this time, but
that's me. I like all of them. I like all the Xenoblades. I do exist.
I enjoyed it. I'm not one of the people that hated it. I enjoyed it, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 actually follows the story of Rex, and you're on a place called All Rest, which people live on the backs of Titans surrounded by this cloud sea. Now, Titans are very big tyrant class monsters, I guess you could call them, because that's pretty much what they are. But they're huge, they're gigantic, and that's where the people live. They live on them, in them, wherever. And in this world, Rex, our main protagonist here, is a salvager. Basically, somebody who goes, finds stuff, sells it back. Basically, he's a dumpster diver, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. He's a dumpster diver. He finds the rare stuff underneath the cloud sea, which we didn't talk about, but
yeah,
he finds stuff buried beneath the cloud sea and comes directly back up.
Yeah, and actually, he's one of the better ones from what they say in the game. He's actually one of the better salvagers in that world. So
for his age, at least, anyway.
Yeah, for his age. So, hey, more power to him. But everything changes when he takes a job by being the dumbest person on earth. Taking a job that he didn't know anything about. He just saw the money and he took the job. Let that be a lesson to you, kids. Never do that.
Yeah,
always get the details. Somebody
take strange jobs from scary looking people.
Yeah, and cat girls who obviously are flirting with you. That being said, that kicks off this whole journey because he pretty much dies in the first hour of the game. And that's not a spoiler because they showed it in the trailer. But he pretty much dies in the first hour of the game, which kicks off the events of the story. So you meet with Pyra, you gather your friends, you go on this journey to go to Elysium, and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. There you go. I think that's a pretty good synopsis, right?
Pretty good synopsis.
All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is the good, and I'll let Shadowfox go with that.
The good, which should be the focus, the main focus here on the good, should be a lot of people listening to this. Apparently, it's not very that it's not that, how can I say it? It's not that good of a trait these days. Apparently, if you listen to angry YouTubers, but the gameplay, the actual battle system, and when you fight enemies, is probably the most addictive I've played. And I was a big fan of X, and I know X had it was a love it or hate it game, to where either you really love the combat system and you like to basically exploit it, or you a person like, okay, I don't like this, it hurts, oh my god, why do I have to grind so much type deal. There's grinding in this game, but it is nowhere near as bad as it is in, say, I don't know, certain areas in Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 2, where it's literally, there is no way past this boss unless you are this level or more, because, in this game, I really think I haven't done New Game Plus yet, but I have a strange feeling that with the knowledge I have of the game now, if I played through it again, knowing a lot of the battle mechanics, I could probably breeze through the game. Start new again, because the majority of the game you're learning literally almost to the end of the game. You're learning all the mechanics of the game. It literally takes you about 40 to 50 hours to figure out everything. So you're learning the entire time you're playing the game, and so you have separate attacks, arts, which you might remember from the other Xenoblade games, Xenoblade Chronicles original. You have blade arts, you have driver arts, and you have specials, and of course with specials you have team attacks that basically combine all the specials together. Some of these abilities aren't unlocked until I want to say the middle of the game, but that's for a reason, and it's the same reason why you're not able to fly until a certain amount of time in Xenoblade Chronicles. It's about exploring the world and learning more about the battle system as you go, and then they start letting loose. The more you play the game, and you start learning, hey, that thing over there that used to kill me time I saw it, not so much anymore because I have this new ability, and I also know how to abuse it. So it's one of those freeing things where you walk across a world and you almost feel threatened because everything is living and breathing and everything is a threat when you come across it. And then towards the end of the game, like everything is afraid of you, won't battle you, or it's already dead, and you have to actually choose to fight it again if you want to. So that's it's kind of a great sense of, or an addictive type of gameplay loop. And I really really appreciated how they did that. I didn't think coming from X that they would be able to go back to the drawing board and recreate and combine things that made both the first Xenoblade Chronicles and X so addicting. But now that I see it, they always have this way to do context sensitive buttons, um, which I forget the in game name for it or whatever. But they find a way to make that timing really feel impactful. So you're in a situation where you need to cancel a driver art and go into a special, and in the special there's button challenges. All of those feel impactful, and then there's rumble in the controllers and all that too. So every hit that you give, the force feedback makes you feel, gives you the power fantasy, if you will. So really really fun game. I would say the gameplay loop itself alone could be played silently with no story and no sound effects. Like it really feels that good. If you just give me rumble and I play this game with nothing, I still have fun doing what I'm doing. And that's a good sign of a good game. That's the whole the I guess Bungie's approach. They followed Nintendo and said every 6 seconds we want to make something really fun. How can we do this? I think that's what they started with in this game, and it shows because all they did was add polish on top of it after that, and everything that you see in the game, you could tell it was how do we give you more of this combat style, or how do we give you more different scenarios of doing this and make it even more fun each time. And every battle I've been in, I've never had one that was actually annoying. Even if you lose, it's kind of like, okay, well, I died this time, but it puts you right back right in front of where your last marker was. So you go right back, and you actually build experience. So if you wanted to, you could be a complete loser, lose over and over again, and you continually get experience anyway. To where if it came down to it, you could just power through it by leveling up if you wanted to. But usually there was something that you missed during that battle, or maybe there was a certain resistance that you needed during that battle, which was really really bad in X. But it's way forgiving in this game, and you can make it through that battle. So I'll put it this way: I went through the entire game without having to use any reflex or any type of resistance stacking for any element or anything like that. It's possible to do that. It's also possible to abuse that throughout the entire game. You're still able to have fun either way, and that I definitely like. That's one thing that's definitely an improvement over X, where the only way you could dominate in that game was to literally abuse all the damage counters in the game. And you don't really get to do that until well towards the end after you beat the game. So it's kind of like a real big end game after that. They didn't fluff this game that way. You could play the entire game the same way as long as you know what you're doing ahead of time, and you'll have fun the entire way through. So that for the gameplay part, I would say literally that is a game that you can play silently and still have fun.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. One thing that I actually like, I like the visual style of it. The visual style
Yes.
there's something about cell shade that I just enjoy in the video game, especially if it's a fantasy world. I can't really. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not one of those guys that if I'm playing a fantasy game, I can't stand the realistic graphics because I'm like, dude, it takes me out of the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
X was good, but I really like the animation in this game because X the characters are kind of stiff except for
yeah,
those bosses.
because they didn't they I guess they wanted it to be more like sci-fi realistic, kind of like pseudo
Hmm.
realistic, and to me sometimes that doesn't work as well as cell shade. So especially if you're doing like this game, like you know this is a fantasy fairy tale type world,
Yeah,
you know. X, you could actually say we don't know what this planet is. It could probably be another planet in the solar system, so that's why they did it like that. But I just think cell shade, the visual style of this just works better. And I'll go on to say this, ladies, feminists, if y'all don't like this comment, please close your ears for the next for the next 2 minutes, please.
oh no, 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 no. They have no weapons because the majority of the character designers were women.
Hold on. They're gonna get mad at me for one thing I'm about to say. And I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because I know some of y'all get upset real easy when somebody say something, but damn it, Nintendo, y'all be making some thick ass women, boy. Now that I got that out of my system, sorry about that. One of the main protagonists is Pyra, the girl you wake up.
Yeah.
And before anybody gets mad about her character design, like Shadow said, the majority of the artists on this game are women.
So yeah, they wanted to
They're
make
women. So if you think I'm
empowered.
lying, go look it up because I went and looked it up. Because there was actually a lady on Twitter who got mad about one character in particular and wanted people to boycott the game until they showed a picture of who drew it
Hmm.
and who drew most of the characters on there. They were women. So hey,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. They were
sorry,
actually like
they
even
know how to draw.
the voice actor, like they interviewed one of the voice actors. I forget the name of the guy, or whatever, but he's interviewed like three of the voice actors from the game so far now, in his podcast. And one of the women in the game, like she had no issues reading any of the script, anything that was questionable, because she saw both the Japanese and the American scripts, and we all know there's a big difference between some of the stuff they censored here versus over there.
Yeah, because
And
some people don't have a hang up on sex.
yeah, none of it put her off. So,
Yeah.
and she was the voice of Pyra and Mithra in this game.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of them situations. Me personally, I love the art design because I thought everything looked unique. It did nothing looked the same,
Hmm.
especially with the core management, which we're gonna get into next because that's something that pissed me off. But with the rare cores, I thought everything looked unique. So it wasn't like it's once again, it's a fantasy. It's not supposed to look real. So if you get easily bothered by, you know, women that are voluptuous, then you probably gonna get mad. If you get easily bothered by, um, half nakedness, you probably gonna get mad.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't even
there's a
know what
lot of
else to
that.
say, but they do both men and women like that. So
Yep.
once again, if you sensitive to that, you probably gonna get mad. But me personally, I liked it. One of my favorite characters in the game is Tora. He's a Nopon. The Nopon race in these Xenoblade games are always hilarious, but
Yes.
Tora is a special kind of hilarious.
Yes. Well, his family
Yeah,
more
his
than
family
him.
is a special kind of hilarious because they have this thing for like maids and lollies that goes way beyond.
Yeah. Have you played the DLC quest yet?
Yeah, I've played a couple of them.
If you play the one to unlock the new
The
no
new one, yeah,
pond,
I'm in the middle of that one.
yeah, that
I got a bad feeling it's gonna get worse. I did the first two parts of that, and I got a bad feeling it's gonna get worse.
yeah, yeah,
So
it's mm,
yeah,
those guys are
but
interesting.
people, it's played for jokes. It's not played for like they're not being misogynist. It's actually funny.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's actually fun because they're aliens. They don't understand what they're just doing what they like.
yep,
They don't understand what it looks like, which is actually brought out by another character. Like, you do know what this looks like, and that whole sequence is funny. That
yeah,
whole
that's
sequence is funny because Morag, one of the characters, Morag, she can't say nothing because her main blade
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit.
Bridget. Yeah, she
Yeah,
kind of the wind blow hard.
yeah. That's they're interesting character designs to say the least. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I can't think of what's the other girl's name with the southern accent, the Ice Blade. What is her name? I can't think of her name right now.
Uh,
Um,
uh, Not Praxis.
I can't think
Perron.
of her name. What's her name?
Perron.
No, not her. She's
Dahlia.
no, the one that looks like she has like the rabbit claws and all that.
It starts with a D.
Dahlia. Yeah, Dahlia. Oh my God. She has a
Yeah.
quest where
Yeah.
they actually talk about it. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And a little girl looking up to her, like, why are they so, oh my God. Like, why is this even talked about? But it's,
But
whatever.
it's a funny, if you have a sense of humor, you'll get it. It's not like, it's a funny back and forth because there's one back and forth when you upgrade Taurus blade to the highest one to get where there's a couple back and forth exchanges between Tora and Poppy Cutie Pie that are actually hilarious.
Yes.
So because she be dissing them and it's hilarious. It's straight up hilarious. But it's just one of those things. It's Japanese humor. So understand that it's not American humor, it's Japanese humor. And personally, I found it funny and I didn't find it offensive at all.
No, it's just Japanese humor. It's what you would probably read in a manga.
In a manga or something. But there's a lot of good characters in this game that cannot be stated enough. And the voice acting is top notch. I like it. A lot of people probably say, why is there so many Scottish accents in it? Well, if you look at the names, you'll be able to tell why. It's heavily influenced by Scottish myth. If you look at a lot of the names.
I guess the other thing too is that this is probably the most involved I've seen supporting characters in the game. In Xenoblade Chronicles X, there's a lot of supporting characters that are playable and non-playable or whatever, right? But the majority of they're useless. I mean, as far as story wise, until in game, and they have a lot of extra quests and stuff like that. With the exception of one character, because you can't do if you beat the game, you miss out on his because you can't spoilers. He's part of the ending of the game. But in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, every NPC in the game, at some point you do a quest for them and it tells you all about them. Literally every NPC. Every area has a backstory. You start this Merc group, it has a backstory. There's a huge, I won't say plot twist, but a huge part in the story where there's an important character and something happens to him. And an entire area is dedicated to him, and that entire area grows as you play the game. Well, every area in the game technically grows as you play the game because you do certain things and it allows certain things. Just something as simple as sending your mother money home later on in the game starts a quest where you accidentally you improve the you just want to know why money was taxed so high when you send your mother money home, and just things like that. Like they really, it seems like they started with the core game, a core story, and they said, okay, let's flesh out this entire world. I don't know how long they spent on this game, but it had to be at least 3 years, at least.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. And you can tell because there's a lot of stuff that they gleaned from X and from the first Xenoblade Chronicles that they like. If there was an issue that you had, they pretty much fixed it in this.
Yeah,
for the most part, they pretty much fixed it.
Every blade is important. Even the minor ones you have, like they say stuff like if you release the blade, they say, "Oh, I'm gonna forget everything, but somehow I don't think I'll ever forget you," and you feel like an ass for doing it. Like they came up with so much text and so much forethought for everything that you do in the game is kind of stunning, to be honest with you. I haven't seen anything like that. You see stuff like that in games that have invisible walls, or games like Uncharted where they walk you through a whole story the whole way. You see details like that in games like that because you have nowhere to go but the way they want you to go, so they can cater that experience to you. there's stuff that you can completely ignore in this entire game, but it's still covered.
Yeah.
So
Now, I will say this: some of those you're gonna get a lot of miscellaneous cores in this game.
yep.
Be careful which ones you toss out. You're gonna have to toss out, so you're gonna have to release some of them. You're not gonna have a choice.
Yeah, because you have limits early
Yeah.
on in the game. You have limits to how many blades you can hold.
Yeah. So
So
some of them you're gonna have to, but just make sure you scroll through and pay attention because some of them you're gonna need them toward the middle parts at the end of the game, and just keep in mind you need to keep some of them around because I'm having that problem right now. But
yeah, there's a lot of gatekeeping too. So yeah,
yeah,
you need a lot of
understand.
different blade powers to go in different areas of the game.
Yeah. Now I only had one thing that annoyed me with this game, and that is the crystal core management. One of the main parts of the game is your compatibility with your blades, which you do by syncing with cores. Now you get three different types of cores. There's the common core, the rare core, and the legendary core.
Mm-hmm.
My problem with this game is there are certain cores that are rare. Like everybody's favorite one is Cosmos. Now, here's the problem. They're completely at random. And when I say at random, I mean even the rare ones, the ones that don't look like miscellaneous ones, are at random. That kind of pisses me off because of the simple fact that if that's the case, then why is there rare and legendary cores? If there's a legendary core or a rare core, I shouldn't be getting a miscellaneous blade out of those. I should be getting a unique rare or legendary blade, in my opinion. I have went through there was at one sitting, I went through 10 rare cores and 8 common cores before I got one truly
Yeah.
rare core.
So
That's happened on more than one occasion.
I read up on that, and apparently there is a method to the madness. It's random, but not completely random. So, but it is random. So, like, it is possible that a player that is new to this game, they can start this game, start playing around with common blades, and get Cosmos at the beginning of the game. That is
Because
very
there were some
possible.
people who told me that they were like, "Man, I got Cosmos and Percival at the beginning." I'm like, I didn't get a rare one until like chapter 4 or 5.
What's the monster's name? The Earthblade. What's his name?
Wolfric.
Okay, so he was my first one, and right after him was Percival. So I
still haven't
don't
got
know if Wolfric was a quest or not, but I pulled Percival right after him.
Well, and I do need to say that a few of them are quests. Now, I wouldn't have had a problem if they relegated those to like side quests because let's be honest, it's not when you look at because there's a place you could go view the blades. The only blades that they're gonna show you like that are the rare ones, the ones that actually look like other people. So, if you're gonna tell me that this set number, which there is a set number, I have to do something like special for, like a side quest for, I wouldn't have a problem with doing that. Because some of them you do, like Harold. I think Wolfric is one, but Harold, Finch, and what's another one I had to do one for? Praxis.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do, yeah,
Practice and her sister.
friend. Yeah, I can't remember her friend's name. But you have to do stuff to get them. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is you don't know that.
yeah. You're talking about Praxis and Theory, their quest.
Yeah.
But I guess my issue, well, I read up on it, and there was a Reddit post about it, and they were doing some math back and forth, and I started doing a little bit of my own testing, and it did work for me. So I had about 5 rare blades to get that were left, with the exception of Cosmos. I still don't have Cosmos to this day. But I was able to get my last couple of rare blades following their formula, and it pretty much works. So whatever element of the rare blade you want to get, first of all, that means you have to go Google them and find out which one they are, which kind of sucks because that kills the surprise. But you have to know specifically what element they are. Then you use you either use the character or you use boosters to make their attributes to either truth, justice, or I forget what the other one is.
Bravery, I think.
Bravery, yeah, whatever, whichever. So there's 2 elements for each one of those three characteristics, and they all tend to. So it's either fire and water, ice and wind, earth and lightning, or light and dark. So there's different 4 attributes for each one of those. So you raise your attributes and your luck, because you still have to have base luck as well, to whatever element you want to get. And chances are, if you've already pulled a whole bunch of common blades of that same element, your next blade is going to be that rare blade of that element. So if I go and if I want to pull, just for example, if I wanted to pull, what was the last rare blade I got? Anika, I think is her name, or Azama, I think is what her name is.
The dark girl with the blaster.
Yeah, with the blaster. So I this was the last one I tested it on, and this is what confirmed it for me. I literally got a whole bunch of dark blades. I kept going over and over again. With at the time, I think it was Morag, I guess, had the most of the justice booster or whatever, right? Which is light and dark. And I ended up using her over and over again and getting a whole bunch of dark blades. And after I did that, I used 3 legendary blades and got 3 dark blades that were kind of strong, but they're still normal blades. Mm-hmm. And then the 4th time, I used another legendary blade with the truth booster on that made her level like 14 or 15 or whatever truth. By the time I was done, it forced her to come out. And that's literally the way it worked. And I did the same thing for Earthblade too, which you can't figure out if it's a boy or a girl. I can't figure out which one. I don't remember. I have to pull up the list of blades or whatever so I can tell you which names they are. But I'm kind of spoiling for some other people here. But I did the same thing for them. I got a whole bunch of Earthblades, and then after I did that, because it kind of empties the amount of available blades there are of that element. Then you go and you use a rare or a legendary blade, because there's a counter for how many legendaries you do. They call it a sympathy counter. So if you use a legendary blade and you don't get a rare blade, that there's a number that carries over. It says, "Oh, you use this many legendaries, so this is going to increase your chance of pulling a rare blade the next time that you use another legendary." So
it's too complicated.
Yeah, and it also depends on how many of the other blades you have in your inventory as well. So when you start doing all that kind of math, it gets ridiculous. But then the same thing is true of building trust in the game as well, which is another thing. But once I figured that out, I was like, oh god, that sucks. But I only have 1 blade left now, and that's Cosmos. So whenever I get her,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, it shouldn't be that ridiculous. It just shouldn't be that ridiculous. I mean, I don't have a problem with them setting out like common, rare, and legendary. I don't have a problem with that, but it should not be that ridiculous to get the rare blades. If that's the case, just make them side quests and I'll get them. Yeah,
like you're probably I'm anticipating around less than 10% per person each gameplay for them to try to pull Cosmos.
Yeah,
like less than 10%.
And they know that she's one that people would want. So why would you even do that to somebody?
Yeah.
Why would you even do that to somebody? The best thing they could have did was like, you know what? We'll do instead of practicing theory, we'll do Cosmos.
Yeah.
We'll let Cosmos be the side quest or whatever.
You got fans of Xenosaga that want to see this character, so whatever.
And the one that they gave you for if you got the DLC. If you bought the season pass, as soon as you beat the game, they give you Telos.
Yeah.
So all I gotta do is beat the game, and guess what's gonna be sitting there waiting for me?
Yep. He's sitting there waiting for you to use, in addition to one they just released last week.
Yeah. So that to me is kind of like, okay, all right, man, that's not even cool. So if there's one thing they want to fix going into the next one, it's that. If you're gonna use that format again, don't do that.
I wonder if they intentionally did that to make her an Easter egg. I'm not following, because they did other things too. Like you know what they did with Elma in X and stuff like that. Yeah. They're like trying to have this loose connection for people to go out there and like find and grind and say, hey, look at this. Yeah. This is similar to this game they used to make. So
I mean, once again, I don't have a problem with that, but don't make me suffer through that, and let me know ahead of time. Like that's something that you need to let people know.
True.
Like that's something that you need. Like if you're gonna do a tutorial about something, that's something you do a tutorial about. That's not something you're like, okay, we're gonna let y'all figure this out. Good luck. Oh, y'all, somebody got Cosmos? Well, this person got it the first time they booted up. Well, I done beat the game 3 times and I still ain't got it.
Yep.
You know,
that's pretty much how I guess you can say that's the way the ball bounces, but that's kind of bad.
Yeah, it's just, to me, that's just a bad look. Overall, though, I think the game is great. It is a worthwhile addition to your Switch library, especially if you are into JRPGs. I am into JRPGs hardcore. So, and I love like you said, the combat, the gameplay is where it's at on this game. I mean, it really is, because let's be honest, the story gets a little bit convoluted and stupid. But
yes.
The gameplay though is where it's at. I enjoy how you do it. I actually enjoy some of the big monsters you have, because fighting some of those big monsters let you do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. You fight a lot longer, so you're able to see more of what your blades can do.
Yeah, and once you get good at this game, like around about chapter 7, 8, 9, man, you're gonna be breezing through enemies.
Yeah, like regular enemies are, until you realize that you have to beat hordes of them to unlock other blades abilities. Then you're like, God, I got to go through all that again, and then it sucks because they're not even a challenge anymore. But it's like, nope, beat 5 of these.
Yeah, because you have to do it for your affinity. Now, I would talk about affinity, but let's be honest, this ain't a game breakdown.
No, and affinity has been in all their games. So
yeah, and if you've played one of them, you know by now what affinity is, and yes, it is just as intense as all the other ones.
Yep.
So you just got to pay attention to your chart. If you're one of those completionist people, good luck.
Yeah.
Because just good luck. Because some of that stuff is ridiculous. Some of that stuff they want you to do, I was looking at some of them like, ain't no way in hell I'm gonna go back to this certain place and kill this one enemy 15 times.
However, there is a workaround. So the entire area that I was talking about that can grow with you or whatever, that is where you start what's called the Merc group. And that's somewhere during the middle of the game, you unlock that and you enable that. So you can send blades out on task. And if anybody that's familiar with MMOs, this is similar to you sending your companion out on a task run and they level up while they go do it. So you can send any group of blades out, 3 blades out, or I guess up to 6 at one instance or whatever, and you send them out, and it takes them a certain amount of time to complete a task, and based on that, they gain experience points and trust, and sometimes they unlock certain abilities on their affinity chart, and a lot of the times it's some of those things that you don't want to do on their affinity chart. So if you don't want to go kill this one
enemy or something in Tantale,
if you don't want to kill this I forget, what do you call those? If you don't want to kill this mega boss or whatever you want to call it, or super boss that you've beat like 5 times or whatever, if you don't want to go back and do that, you can send them on a task and it'll unlock it for you, so you don't have to do it.
Yeah, it may take 50 minutes, but you can do it. But yeah, that I do like that addition to the game, the whole mercenary part. That's actually good. I actually like that. Like I said, overall, great game for the library, especially if you're into the whole JRPG action adventure genre. Like I said, if you're one of those people who did not like Xenoblade Chronicles X, you might like this one a little bit better, just because it's more in tune with Xenoblade Chronicles, the one with Shulk from the Wii. It's more in line with that as opposed to Xenoblade Chronicles X, which leads me to believe they're going to probably have like 2 different sets of Xenoblades. It's going to be the ones that's like X and the ones that's like this, like Chronicles. So,
which is kind of funny because the end of this game technically ties all 3 games together. It's interesting where they could go, because they could technically do a Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is a direct sequel of Xenoblade Chronicles if they want to.
If they want to.
And then they could do another one, that's a sequel of this environment, and then also one of X.
Yeah.
Because they all point to one. There's one singularity that causes everything to happen in all three of these games. So it's just no, it's just interesting. So the
Yeah.
convoluted story makes sense towards the end.
Yeah, and like I said, they can go wherever they want to with it, and I think that's why they wrote it the way they wrote it. So
Yeah.
that's what I think. But overall, perfect for the system. Great game. You will if you're one of those people that okay, I need to get my child a game that it's gonna take them a while. This will take them a while.
Yeah.
This is not gonna. This ain't no. I beat it in 2 weeks.
Do you want to talk about the technical stuff and the graphics as well, or?
No, not for this one.
Yeah, the only standout I will put is it is amazing with some of the detail they put. Like
Yeah.
the draw distance is amazing, and I can't think of another game world where the landmass you're on is moving,
Yeah.
and you constantly see it moving the entire time.
Now, also, you do need to remember some of the team actually worked on Breath of the Wild, so
Yeah.
that's why I think the draw distances and a lot of that stuff actually looks as good as it does because this is Monolith Soft actually helped with Breath of the Wild and they went back and forth. So I wouldn't be surprised if like some of those guys came back and okay, let's do this, and this, and that's why we see it in the game.
Yeah.
But your overall,
Oh man, there's nothing for me to say. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is my game of the year for 2017. So over Breath of the Wild. So
blasphemy.
Yeah, blasphemy. But I'm sorry that if you want to compare, so Breath of the Wild was, for those that do not understand, Breath of the Wild is literally, it is the Super Mario 64 to Super Mario Brothers as this is to the original Legend of Zelda. That's what Breath of the Wild was. It was
I'll give you that.
Yeah, it literally was, okay, it's dangerous out there. Here's this bloody sword, go. Or in this case, here's a twig, go.
Yeah.
So that's how it felt to me. It brought me back to 1986 all over again. And to me that's a testament. However, this game is so freaking polished. I don't even, there's so much detail in this game, even for it to be, as cartoony as it is and things like that. The gameplay loop in this is so amazing. While there are so many different things that can happen in Breath of the Wild, based on how they modified Havoc, this game you could tell was programmed a very specific way, and there are no ways around the way that they want you to play this way. It's going to feel good, and no matter what they throw at you, there's a way to figure out that scenario. And I'm just so addicted. I'm still playing it. Still playing it to this day.
I mean,
so
the game is addictive. I'm not gonna lie. That's an addictive game. I will say this though. Let me reiterate something because I did forget this. I always do this when I do my written first impressions and reviews of games. I always try to put in something for parents. There are some jokes that are kind of adult in nature, but I think they go over kids' heads personally. They may not go over yours.
Like Tiny Toons or Animaniacs.
Yeah, kind of like that. Because there's a couple of them involving Torah that I was like, at the second time I heard it, I'm like, ooh. And there's one involving Mithra and Rex.
Well, the official website says the game is rated T for teen for language, suggestive themes, use of alcohol and tobacco, and violence. And all of those things are there. All of them.
All of it is there, but it's not as bad as you would think. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not a game I would say like you like, oh my God, you can't have them play it. You can have them play it. I just wanted you to know if you walking by and you get to a certain point in the game and they make a reference to a one-eyed monster, I warned you. Right?
Okay, a kid wouldn't get that. A kid wouldn't get that at all. There's some adults that wouldn't get that.
Yeah, but like I said, I just feel like I need to say that just because, God forbid somebody hear that and like, you said this game was, I warned you.
I mean, some of the side quests are even worse than that. So
like I said, just know that going in. But once again, it's not a game that I would say, preteens could enjoy. I'm like, preteens and teens can enjoy this because that's who the target demographic anyway. But it's not like, and it's not vulgar. I should say it's not vulgar, but it does have like those suggestive themes and stuff like that, and that's just you should know that before you go in.
Yep.
But other than that, I think I think the game is fine. I think if it's just one of those games that they can play. I mean, hey,
is it worth the 60? Is it worth the 80? Because we forgot to talk about the special edition.
To me, it's worth the 60. The DLC, it depends because once again, a lot of we haven't gotten the last thing yet. The last thing is the actual story, the extra story that was supposed to get sometime this summer.
Yeah.
So we haven't gotten the last piece yet. So we might have to come back to this once we get that one.
Yeah.
And just do a DLC discussion. But for me personally, it was worth it. But I can't tell somebody like, until I get that last piece, I can't tell somebody to go get it right now because I don't know their situation. But to me, it's worth it. But understand that you can do everything in the game. It's a complete game, so you can do everything in the game. And you don't have to worry about it. But I would say we'll probably come back and do that. We'll come back once we beat that last story DLC that's supposed to come. That's the last piece of the DLC. Once that hits, we'll come back and do a review of just the DLC and let you know if you still on fence about it.
I have a disclaimer for those that are willing to purchase the DLC. Make sure you purchase it while you're still towards the beginning of the game, because there are items that are in that DLC that you use in that game that are absolutely useless to you in the end game.
Yeah.
So there's stuff I have sitting in there, and I can't even open it because I have a million of them. So I would suggest if you're going to get the DLC, get it ahead of time. Don't wait until you beat the game, then try to get the DLC.
Yeah, because it's gonna if you know, because it's only $19. So if you know you're gonna get it, just go in and get it. If you're still on the fence, I would say give us probably like a couple weeks after it drops, and then we'll have a review up for you. If you're still worried about it. Other
also,
than that,
Mithra over Pyra.
No, Pyra over Mithra.
Well, technically, there's another person that's actually better, but that's spoilers. So
yeah, that is spoiler. But as far as Pyra, man, because Mithra gets on your nerves, man, because she too moody.
True, that blonde hair though.
She too moody. But Pyra's thickness.
True. They're really the same girl. What?
No, they're not. No, they're not. They are different. They try to get you to believe they're the same. They are different.
One covers up more, but then one cooks. So there's
it just depends, man. But all in all, it's a great game. It's a great game, perfect for the system because you can play it on the go. I play it on the go all the time. So hey, pick up this game if you're looking for a JRPG. That's going to be a little bit of a journey. That it's not going to be a quick one and done. So
no,
I would say pick it up.
If you're an RPG fan, you might as well put every game down. If you have other games you're playing on the Switch, you might as well push them to your backlog. And once you start playing this, you can get back to them.
Yeah. You'll understand once you start playing it.
Yeah, definitely.
You will understand once you start playing it, and that's the truth. You'll understand once you start playing it. But that does it for this recommendation. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you guys on the next one. Peace out, peeps.
Deuces.